Is really a monumental day in the Metro East.
What makes this day so big? More eyes on the roads in the Metro East. The Illinois State Police tapping license plate readers to catch criminals as they try and run free. Now, these devices can alert police when they detect a stolen vehicle, but they can also be used in an investigation to identify and track down criminals. And new at 6, Russell Kinsall is in East St. Louis right now with really the bigger picture of this new crime breakdown.
Yeah, so right now I'm standing along I-70 in East St. Louis. One thing is true about criminals. After committing a crime, they want to get away fast, and usually that means jumping on the interstate to do that. State of Illinois has a plan to install license plate reader cameras on interstates to help with criminal investigations in 21 counties. Chicago got them first and saw a sharp reduction in expressway shootings. Now the emphasis is on installing those kind of cameras right here in the Metro East.
Oh, it's great. Great tool.
Rodney Webster and other residents of East St. Louis are speaking out in favor of cameras on interstates that can help catch criminals.
Anything to help the police solve the crimes is useful. I'm for that.
The director of the Illinois State Police, Brendan Kelly, was back in St. Clair County, where he previously served as the county's top law enforcer as circuit attorney. He announced a ramping up of the use of license plate readers.
This is going to have a major impact on our ability to detect criminal activity, deter criminal activity, find the people who are committing crimes in these communities, and prevent that from happening in the future.
Kelly said 45 cameras have already been installed. Another 30 will be added by the end of the year. He said they were instrumental in solving a homicide in East St. Louis on July 5th.
Another key component in evidence that we'll need to actually get a suspect charged.
The cameras are being installed only on interstates, and they won't be used for traffic enforcement. After installing a network of cameras in the Chicago area, Kelly said non-fatal expressway shootings dropped 50%. Expressway homicides dropped 88%. And he said there was a 230% increase in the number of recovered stolen or carjacked vehicles.
Law enforcement can identify potential suspect vehicles, can correlate that with the license plate readers that are on the interstates and see where those individuals may be traveling, be able to connect the dots, find the suspect, and hold them accountable.
So there are limitations on how long the photos taken by these cameras can be kept. There are limitations on using these cameras just for serious crimes, which obviously that includes also stolen vehicles. Live in East St. Louis, Russell Kinsall, News 4.